Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Tell your children not to hear my words, what they mean, what they say.
Hello all, and welcome to another question and answer show with me, Truthslayer, in which I answer your guys' questions. As always, if you have a question for me, just send it my way, and if I can answer it, I will, or give you my opinion on something you want my opinion on. I just leave it to one question per person, and of course, try to make it good, as I'm being a little more selective on the questions I use now. So, let's get started. Hey, Truthslayer, how would you fix the title mess in TNA after Hard Justice is over? I would fix it before Hard Justice is over, to be completely honest. I'd probably give Danielson the X Division title, and then give LAX or Team 3D the tag team titles before Hard Justice, and that way at least you have it fixed before Hard Justice. But they won't do that. So after Hard Justice, I know I'd still have Danielson win the X Division title. That, or even though it doesn't look like Samoa Joe would win, if Samoa Joe won, I would have him stripped of the other two titles. But that's just my own personal opinion. But I would definitely have Danielson be the the X Division champion, and then you know, one of the many tag teams you could pick to be the tag team champions. So okay. Seriously though, have you heard of the New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax tournament? If so, would you recommend it? And if you have time, which year do you think I should try and find? The tournament's usually pretty good, and off the top of my head, I tried to look, and I always actually enjoyed the All Japan tournament a little more than the New Japan tournament, to be completely honest. But you know, what I would do is I would just go through and find the guys that you enjoy, or that you've seen before, or that you recognize, and guys that you like, and just go from there. That's usually the best way to look at tournaments. So, are you aware of any plans to crown a new WWE champion that have been scrapped? I remember hearing that in '92 they were going to give Henning a run with the title after Flair. Also, Bret Hart was said that they were building to have him drop the title to Warrior at Royal Rumble '92 before he walked out. Also, Shamrock in '98 when he was over. Have you heard about these or any other plans that have fallen through? There was always something like this would be when Flair supposedly was originally supposed to win the WWE title from Hogan at WrestleMania, and then Hogan refused to job to Flair, so that's why they did the whole Royal Rumble thing. Of course, you also have Lex Luger, which of course he didn't get they scrapped that because he didn't get over. There was also Bret Hart not beating Yokozuna, which was supposedly because they didn't think Bret was over enough. Let's see, let me think of some others that off the top of my head. That's pretty much all I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure if, you know, I looked, I mean, I'm sure there's tons of stuff like that because of backstage politics, particularly, you know, during the Hogan eras in WCW and WWF, where you probably had a lot of that due to backstage politics, where guys just didn't, you know, weren't given the shot because of whatever. I mean, one feud I can think of, I don't know if he was going to get the title, but one feud I can think of off the top of my head was Jake the Snake Roberts and Hulk Hogan, which they dropped because the one time they kind of hinted at it, Jake got a bigger pop than Hogan did. So there you go. You've said in past that you would love to see Test shoot on Mr. and Mrs. Stephanie McMahon. I thought Test and Stephanie only had an on-air relationship. Did something happen backstage or off-air? Supposedly they were kind of seeing each other before. And the whole thing where I want them to shoot on is the fact that as soon as Stephanie was, you know, with Triple H and they were doing that whole thing, they basically buried Test. And the whole reason is, a lot of people feel, is that Triple H didn't want Test anywhere around. So there you go. Would you say, in terms of entertainment, 2006 was one of WWE's best years in a while because of DX? Yeah, I mean, there was lots of entertainment, but the wrestling wasn't very good, so I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think 2004 was probably a little better year as far as entertainment goes, but that's just me. If in your past periods you described TNA as underachieving, what do you think they need to do to live up to their potential? Make a real tag team division, and so you can have a real tag team matches, which I think people would like to see. And then I would say also get rid of the X division, bring in like a TV title. That way you can allow the guys that have been stuck in the X division to kind of work the regular cards as well. Do less matches on pay-per-view so the matches can be longer, so they can give guys an actual opportunity to go out there and see what they can do. That sort of thing. Just real easy things I think they can really do. And stop being, stop trying to do overly difficult storylines. Keep the storylines as simple as possible for the most part. I think that would help a lot. At this time, I believe CM Punk is being misused in ECW because they're not letting him use a lot of his moves like the Vexy Plunge, etc. I would much rather see him go back to Ring of Honor, where I believe he had the best matches. But my question for you is, do you think ROH will ever let CM Punk back after CM Punk disrespected ROH by signing his contract on top of the ROH Championship belt, which was a work? And also, the reason why CM Punk is not allowed to use many of his moves is the Pepsi Plunge. He has said that he doesn't think he can do on a regular basis anymore because it hurts his knees too much, and also because it doesn't fit within the WWE style. People need to realize this, that they're not going to let guys do moves they deem dangerous or too hard on a guy's body, because they have to do those moves night in, night out. Unlike, on the indie scene and stuff, maybe guys are doing moves like, 3 times a week, not 4 or 5 times a week. So you need to keep that in mind. I tried getting into TNA, but the more I watched it, the more it reminded me of WCW the dying years. But it seems like there are a growing number of TNA fans on YouTube. What am I not getting? I don't know. I'm with you. That's why I added this question. I have no idea. I guess because people are fed up with WWE, they're not willing to actually go out there and, try to broaden their horizons, look at some of the indies out there. They'd much rather just go to TNA, and I don't really think TNA is that much better than WWE at this point. How would TNA change if they were able to get Paul Heyman as head booker after Heyman's contract runs out? If they would allow Heyman to be head booker, I think you would see a much more wrestling-based storyline, wrestling-based product, which I think a lot of people feel would compete a lot better with WWE and would give them a base to eventually expand into maybe doing more sports entertainment stuff. Also, how it would be if the TNA booking team was Paul Heyman, Scott D'Amore, and would TNA change if they were able to get Paul Heyman as head booker after Heyman's contract runs out? Yes, definitely, without a doubt. I think that you would just see a much better product. I think you would see something where they would let guys go out there, let them do their things. I think they wouldn't talk down to fans. I think the storylines would be much more, I wouldn't say highbrow, but a lot more creative. I think you'd see some different things. I really do. I think he would be able to do a lot with the company if he was allowed to be the head booker. And that, of course, is the question that everyone has to answer. I'm done. This is it. I'll talk to you guys later. See you soon.
Let's ride.